The Ryan Ries Show from Southern California. This is The Ryan Ries Show. Post your questions using @Ryan Ries on his Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Are you ready?
Well, tonight, I have one of my good friends in studio, Manafest, Chris Manafest, the artist. So, look at, man, let's just get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, man.
I'm so pumped to see you, dude, because you're my homie.
I can't believe I'm like across. Did I wake up and I'm back in California and, don't let me leave, dude.
Isn't this crazy? It's so funny because I just drove up here, I just ran in the studio and then we didn't get a chance to even catch up. So we're going to just do it
Catch up live.
We're going to catch up live. So, look, dude, we have a lot to talk about. But first of all, what part of Canada are you in? Are you in Toronto?
Yeah, just outside of Toronto, a little suburb called Pickering.
So is it just like lockdown right now?
Dude, it's crazy lockdown. Like I came here and I went to Sprouts and I had a mask on and I noticed people weren't wearing masks in
Orange County.
In Orange County.
Yeah.
And I got back to my buddy's house. I was like, dude, I wore a mask. He's like, dude, you don't have to wear a mask down here. And so it's been over a week and a half. I haven't had a mask in the car, and it's like just unbelievable, like just freedom, dude, and just getting out and like, cause I've just been locked down, man. Like there's times I was like writing in my car when we had like a stay-at-home order, and I thought instead of getting pulled over for skateboarding, I thought I'd get pulled over for writing songs about Jesus in my car.
So when they locked you down, you weren't even allowed to drive.
Unless it was like to go get groceries and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
And when was that, the first lockdown or second? I don't even know how many lockdowns.
Dude, there's been too many. I don't even know.
Really? So you guys have done more than two?
I think so.
Wow.
There's too many, and I'm thankful I get to like work from home and write songs and live stream videos and stuff like that. Yeah. So, we haven't been like affected as much as other people.
Right.
So very thankful for that.
It's so interesting when this all first started with the pandemic and everything, everyone got locked down, and what I realized for me is I produced more than I ever have, because I'm not touring and traveling. Mm-hmm. We're at home. So then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, you shift gears. That's when I wrote the book, was right in the middle of the pandemic. Like in the middle, one of the middle chapters, I'm like, okay, so the whole world just got shut down. Yeah. All the toilet paper's gone, ammo. Yeah. And, but what I was saying though, is that during this time for artists like you, cause you're a musician and you have your own podcast and radio show now, right?
I did.
You did.
I chilled out on it for a while, dude. I loved talking and this stuff. I didn't like picking out the music and stuff.
Oh, because it was music based too.
Because it was music based, so I gotta just probably get somebody to just pick out that stuff, because I just want to like talk and inspire. Like, it's not that I don't like, it's just time consuming, right? Like,
I know. It's easier just to go for it, just to get cool guests and have conversations.
Yeah, but still want to just put out content and music and everything.
Well, during this time, I was thinking, I was saying, when everyone's locked down, what's going to happen with artists and the creative, any kind of art or whatever, they're all stuck at home. And if you really don't waste your time and you get busy, there's going to be some serious amount of music, serious amount of art and all levels coming out. And that's basically what happened. You start hearing all of this new music.
Dude, totally, man. It's like, don't let a crisis go to waste in some aspects. Like, take that time and get to work. Like you created, get out there, be a voice. And like a lot of people have pivoted, and some relationships, I know marriages actually got stronger. I know that's not always the case, but forced to hang out and talk to each other, and you just a positive thing. Seriously.
No, it's true. So what were some of the pivots like just with you? I know you have a new book that we're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
It's about financing, right?
Yeah, it's just about getting out of debt, and just finding your dream and just focus on your dream more than, having to focus on paying the bills, right?
So balling on a budget's out of the question? No, actually, that's good. Balling on a budget.
Like that, I like that. That's dope.
Tony Tave, the skater.
Yeah.
He his he emailed me when he was young, and it said he was balling on a budget at AOL. AOL days.
Yeah.
And I was like, that name is just amazing. So I've been using it ever since.
Dude, I love
balling on a budget, because you're always in budget, but you just got to ball as much as you can,
man,
right?
You got to watch things, right? But like we were just like I was telling Lucas before this, like before the pandemic, I decided to take a year off of touring. Like I just wanted to be home. I have my daughter; she's 7 now, and
awesome.
Just wanted to be just focus. And I didn't know that it was going to be an extended tour break. So we're just praying about how to get back into it and get on the road, and I'm stoked to play some shows, man.
Are you touring right now?
No.
You haven't done any tours yet?
I haven't played a show in over a year and a half. I did like maybe one small thing, like a speaking thing, some interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
But cranking out a lot more music. That's why I'm down here.
Yeah.
Just, working on a new record.
So what are you working on, and who are you working with?
I'm working with Joe Rickard right now. He's producing it. And Trevor's helping me write some stuff from TFK. And
cool.
JR is laying down guitars right now.
Nice.
And the tech from Breaking Benjamin, I'm going down there right after this actually to go.
Is that in Orange County?
They're in more Oceanside area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're going to go down there.
So yeah, I've been watching. It's been cool to see JR just really even develop even more. He's singing on the Head's new album. They're loving it.
He's so talented, man. He might do some vocals as well, like just some like BGVs and stuff like that. But dude, they're sending me stuff with the tones and stuff they're getting. Like I'm stoked, man.
And then TFK, Trevor, we've been trying to get him on this radio show forever.
Yeah.
Me and him are always constantly texting.
Yeah,
and
he's such a good dude, man.
I know. I can't wait for a conversation. I think he's working on some projects first. I think that was the last conversation. He's like, he wanted to get whatever he's working on done.
Yep.
And then, get on the show.
Oh yeah, when he gets his record done and he'll be ready.
He'll be ready, yeah.
Rock it, yeah.
Dude, so how's the wife and kids? Is she a stay-at-home mom, or is she working? Because I know she was working doing some creative stuff too.
Yeah, she's always doing graphic design.
Yeah.
She's doing a lot of book covers, album covers, logo design and stuff.
Awesome.
And like she's really using like that Upwork platform and stuff a lot lately, and just finding like clients all over the world, which is cool. And she designs actually a liquor magazine out here in Cali, actually. Like
make
she's
the,
had
make
for
the butter,
years,
make the cheddar.
But we work from home. Again, like we're blessed, man, like to be able to do that. Because, a lot of people like are getting affected by a lot of stuff, right? So
Right. So I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to your tour. So are you guys working on tour dates, or like what's the state of like with all the COVID and restrictions and just like new mandates and stuff? Like, is there an area for touring right now, or do you feel like everything's kind of coming to a halt during like the winter months?
I don't even know, man. Honestly, like I got offers, like we got offered for like a UK tour and I don't know what the deal is with Canada, if you have to be vaxxed or not. And I don't even honestly know in certain states in the US.
Yeah.
And I don't know what direction we're going with this. But I'm not vaxxed yet. We're just holding off, you know what I mean? That's a personal decision, just waiting, you know what I mean? I don't want to be the first in line for anything.
I'm not a guinea pig.
I just want to wait, you know what I mean? I used to work in the computer industry, and one thing I know is with service packs, I never get it right. There's always an update, right?
You know this. What's funny is I just read in the news last night, I think it's Harvard, I think it was almost over, it's 90 something, like almost the whole school's vaxxed. It's like 90 in the high 90s is vaxxed, and they just had to shut down the campus to go into online learning.
Yeah, dude, people that still have been vaxxed are getting it. Like my wife just got it, my daughter got it, and I didn't get it. You know what I mean?
And you guys are all in the same house.
All in the same house, dude. Just, no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
So wait, were you, so you guys were by each other?
Yeah, I chose to because normally when she'd get sick, I'd still sleep in the same bed.
Yeah.
But I just thought with this COVID thing, and I had this trip coming up, dude, California, okay? I want to surf, I want to skate, I want to do music. I'm not risking it. So I slept in my daughter's room.
Good. That's what I did too.
And I ended up not getting it. Pounded the zinc and vitamins, and we like green smoothie it all the time. I've been Vitamixing it for a while, right?
Yep.
So my immune system is my mask, right?
Exactly.
So why not just take care of my body instead of just doing the easy stuff?
I had the same scenario. I caught it up in our last tour in Idaho Falls.
You got it on the road.
I got it, dude. After all the road of me going everywhere and being with people, like
it's because you were tired, though. It's probably because you weren't getting that much sleep. Your body's run down. You're talking, and
I mean, we did like 5 events in like 3 days, and like it was all like church services. So there was like we were in front.
So your body's like run down, man. Like when we were on tour, I'd not always get sick, but it was way easier to get sick, and I think it's because we're up late. Up early, driving, and your body just wears down, and you're easier.
But this is what's interesting is because I do all the vitamins and everything as well, and I was on all the vitamins. But check this out: when I got it, I didn't lose my taste, I didn't lose my smell. I only got lower back pain. Like I had tight muscles in my back. Like I feel like I've been trying to do backside 180s up a gap for like 3 hours. I was just sore, so I'd have to like stretch, which I already stretch every morning anyway, because I'm a skater, so that's old. Yeah. And then my headache was about 1%. Like I was like, is that a headache or like what is that? So I didn't have to take Advil or anything for that. And then I didn't have a fever ever.
Really?
I basically ate vitamins.
Did you test positive for it?
I test positive. I ate vitamins every day. I was still able to eat. I was working like all day. I just was isolated in my room, started reading a book. And then the only effects that I had though is The last the last 4 days, I believe, or last 5 days, I got all this confusion, like day, 11 to 15 or whatever it was. I got confusion where I couldn't hold sentences. I wasn't like totally confused running around like stupid.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have the ability to hold on to conversations too long, where I didn't do any radio shows for like that week.
Yeah.
Or, those couple weeks, and then, or do any teaching or anything. I had to cancel one speaking engagement because I couldn't hold my thoughts. But then all of a sudden, because Sean McKeon got it too, and he told me, oh, just watch day 15, it'll lift. Day 15 came around, or day 18, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like on point. I packed my family up and we went to Idaho on a family trip. So
awesome.
And I say all this to say this, just like what you're saying.
Yeah.
We're skaters. We're healthy. We're skating. We're active. You're surfing. Yeah. We're healthy. Our body's in motion. We're eating vitamins. We're eating well for the most part. You know what I mean? I get my In-N-Out burger on, but we eat well. We're healthy, and we're on vitamins. So when we got it, it didn't hit.
It didn't hit as hard.
It didn't hit hard.
It's because it's they said from stats is it's people that are already have conditions or smoking or other things going on, and it just inflames it and takes it to the next level. So it's
absolutely,
if you're healthy, man. Not saying that it can't still whatever. Because my wife got some gnarly headaches and fevers and stuff. It just hits people differently too, right?
It hits everyone. Honestly, it hits everyone different. My mom has stage 4 cancer or 5 cancer, and she got COVID.
Wow,
she got COVID and she made it through. She's like, I just felt a little tired, and she was bored in the hospital. But
wow, man,
it hits people. I was like, she's gone, right? But anyway, it all hits people different. So,
crazy.
So I have a question. So how did this whole COVID thing affect you? What were some learning lessons? What's some life stuff that you could share with the listening audience of how you grew in a sense in this time?
Well, freedom is important, and how you use your time, right?
Right.
And
time management, right?
You can get bitter, you can get better, you can go on social media and get angry. And I know we both don't agree with a lot of things that are happening in the world, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
And you can choose to get really angry and frustrated and just keep scrolling and get upset, or you can write a book, or you can get to work and plug into God and say, okay, God, what is my message right now, and help people and love people, And I'll be honest, it's kind of lonely. It's been lonely being in Canada with COVID and everything, just because I already work from home, and I'm not touring or whatnot, so there's not a lot of connection with people, and so it's staying busy and just knowing what I'm called to do, and just staying on that and having my goals, having my dreams, and just, focusing, getting stuff done, as opposed to just getting bitter. Right now, we might not be able to go to the gym when I get back, because I kickbox and do Muay Thai stuff 3 times a week.
Sick.
And they just put a Band-Aid on that so that, unless you have your vaccine passport. And so I'm not sure what's going to go on there, but it's all of a sudden my freedoms are getting taken away from me, and not even be able to go to church and stuff, right? So we had to do church online, and I honestly don't want to grow up. I don't want my daughter to grow up not going to church and not having that worship experience. She goes to a Christian school, but I'm not expecting them to, grow teach my daughter everything about God and stuff. I want her to have a worship experience, raising her hands, because a lot of stuff for me and my wife was at a Bible camp and worshiping God and having that personal experience. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that's really important. So we're trying to navigate that still right now. It's what does this look like? And also, what is our breaking point to moving to a land that is honestly more free? And, Canada is not a Christian nation like America is, right? And so it's really praying through all these things, but just keeping the joy through it, man, and helping people. It's true. Proverbs says, he who refreshes others will be refreshed himself. You probably get pumped up after doing these shows. I'm probably going to get pumped up because we're putting out, we're sharpening iron, but we're also putting a message of hope out there for people, right? And so through all that, just trying to look at, because there's other people going through crazier stuff, as you don't have to look far off the side of the tracks to find someone doing not as good as you and has bigger problems that you would gladly not want, right? So
something that you said I want to kind of jump back to is you were talking about, during this time when you're scrolling through everything, it's hard, time management and how you're going to use your time. Are you going to get angry and start going off on things of the world? But you said instead to use this time to minister. I forget the exact word. You said something like minister to them or encourage them, or
just inspire them.
What's the best way to encourage people during these times, but also be relevant on the signs of the times? Because we're Bible believing Christians from Genesis to Revelations, and we know that these are all the birth pains that Jesus would talk about. Was it Matthew 13? I think end time stuff, and just these are the birth pains that are all ramping up. I'm not saying that I don't know when Jesus is coming, but we're definitely the signs of the times. It's getting very interesting in how fast everything's going. So it could get frustrating, scary, nervous, anxiety, fear, everything, right? And we know the scripture says, love casts out all fear. So when we have a relationship with God and we're plugged into God and we're reading his word, the scriptures, the messages, the Bible studies, it encourages us and brings calmness during these times, because it is crazy times. But how do you think what's a good way to encourage people through social media and messaging, so you're not over the top of like, it's the end of the world, and not like scaring people, but yet, like I posted here's a better example. Like I got a post today or on one of my social medias where I was kind of talking about things that are just going on. It's just like signs of the times of what's going on. But one guy basically which says, be careful, because this could make people live in fear. But then I'm like, I'm a watchman, and I also want to let people know what's going on, but not. You
can't put your head in the sand, right?
Right, exactly.
And this thing, like, dude, I'm sure your dad and other pastors for years have been saying it's the end times. Like, there was gnarly stuff going on back in the day that seemed super gnarly to them. Right now, it's seeming really gnarly to us, and I do believe like it's moving faster, and the gnarliness is like even higher, right? And so I think people are looking for leaders like you and pastors to talk about these things and not shy away from it, because they're looking for hope. They're looking for something, and they need someone to lead. But like, you're not sticking your head in your stand. We're here right now. We're trying to like say, yes, it's the end times right now, but still live. Faith is an action word, right? Like, there's still works to be done. Like, keep helping people, keep doing your thing. And like, you can't just it's easy to just get paralyzed by fear and do nothing. It's the end times, and like, buckle in. And I've learned, man, to not make decisions based on fear. Make them based on faith. Because I've made decisions based on fear and pulled back, and I've always regretted those.
Always.
As opposed to making a decision on hope and like, faith believes in the impossible, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like, don't dial back your dreams for your family, for your business, for your health, and all these personal things. Like, keep stretching, right? Like, let's keep taking ground even during these tough times, right? As opposed to pulling back. Like I see you, like, you're not dialing back. You're releasing books, like we're doing tours and stuff,
moving forward,
finding things you can do. And that's easier said than done sometimes, because sometimes, like, I don't feel like doing stuff, but that's why I got to be careful, who I'm following and who's speaking into my life, right? Yeah. And how I take it. But you're right. There's like, some people say, like, the Bible even says to fear God, but it's like a godly fear, and we used to be able to should fear like lions and losing our lives and stuff. We don't have those types of fears now. Now they're, the news was supposed to inform us. Now they just want to startle us and have us live in fear. So, navigating through that is, I think, our hope in Jesus, but not just sitting on the sidelines praying and waiting for God. I think we should get busy and get to work, right?
When I feel fear, like when I'll be praying about something, or like God will like put thoughts in my mind, or my, these promptings to do something, you get fear. And the more fear I start getting, the more I know I have to do it. Because I'm like, I'm not a fearful guy. So then I'm like, why am I getting all this fear? Why am I feeling all this fear all of a sudden? Just of stepping out by faith or whatever. So the more I feel that, I'm like, okay, that's the enemy, and this is a work from him. So that means I have to do it. And every time I feel that, I just go and do it, even though I don't know, because faith is like believing in the invisible coming to the visible. You don't know. You're believing in something that doesn't exist at the time. But you're counting on it happening, and then you do, and guess what? God shows up. So I would want to encourage listeners too, like when you feel that fear, you got to be able to distinguish what's the enemy and what is God. Because if love casts out all fear, God is love, and he's in you, and he works through you, and he comes upon you, and he fills you, and he illuminates your mind, and he speaks through you and shows you what path to take. And the enemy, he wants to shut down and stop the work that God has for you.
Yeah.
And basically, you know, what's interesting is even like there's a lot of people that, you know, they want the provision from God, right? Mm-hmm. But what happens is we know that God's omniscient. He's in the present, the past, and the future. He's everywhere. And God he has the we want the provision, but what happens is God, he sees in the future and he already has it done. So it's like, it's prevision. Like he has the prevision of what he's going to give you and do for you. But what you're praying about, but what happens is, just like Abraham and Isaac, remember Abraham had to actually show his actions by faith. He had to go get his son, go to the very top of the mountain, sharpen the sword, get ready to offer the sacrifice, hold the sword up, and by him stepping out in faith and not talking about it, I'm going to get the sword. Yeah. I'm going to get the donkey. I'm going to get my son, and I'm going to go, okay, God, you know, give me what you said you were going to do. But he went through the whole act, going all the way to the moment. And at that moment, God brought the provision and brought the sacrifice at that moment and did what he promised to do. Yeah. And a lot of us, we go through fear and we want stuff. We want God to work in our life, but we never step out by faith and actually go all the way. God's waiting to see action, right? He wants to see faith is dead without deeds, right? Yeah. So you got to go through the whole process, and it could be at the 11th hour, you know, we're getting ready to pull the sword down on his son, and then boom, the provision shows up and God brings that blessing. And this guy, Abraham, they had no idea what was happening, but God knew the whole time that sacrifice was coming up around the mountain and it was going to show up right at the 11th hour. And that's what I want to encourage people to is don't be scared. If God prompts you to do something, it may sound insane and totally ridiculous, but you know what? God can do the extraordinary in the ordinary realm, make the invisible come visible, basically.
Yeah, that's what he does, man. He's the God of the impossible, right? Like things that you never thought could happen. That's what he does in people's lives. He's done it in my life in so many different scenarios where I thought it was like hopeless, and then the last minute, like, things change, you know, like me almost quitting my music career. You know, losing weight for me was an impossibility at one time. You would be able to tell right now, but I was really overweight as a kid, and just so many times God showed up at the final hour. You know, he's not late, right? He's never
late. But you know what's so interesting is, like, I was talking to my wife the other day, and you know, she's like, I'm not getting any answers from God. We were kind of trying to make this decision. And I'm like, I make a joke. Because I've been in this faith walk. I've seen so many things happen over the last 13 years. This whole walk has been with faith, because after getting saved with a crazy life, I'm like, I don't have nothing to lose. Like, whatever. Like, who cares? Take the risk, right?
Yeah, just go.
But she's like, God's not saying anything. I'm like, well, you know, he likes to show up at the 11th hour sometimes. Yeah. Like literally. So it's not the 11th hour. So I mean, we still have a couple days, but God was faithful, and he shows up. So you learn the character of God when you read the scriptures, right? When you're going through the Bible, you could see the character. He answers prayers immediately sometimes. Things just aren't lined up yet, because God is the divine chess player, right? Sometimes he has to line other pieces in your life before he brings something to pass. It's almost like when you meet, you're waiting for your girlfriend or your future husband or wife, and you're like, where is she, or where is he, and they don't show up for years, because God is working out his plan and his purpose, and actually refining them, developing them into that person that they need to be. So when you meet, and guess what? He's doing a work on you too. Yeah. And maybe you're not ready to meet that person.
Two broken people coming together is not good. You know, you want to get healed and know your calling, so you guys can go together and run that race together.
And that's why we got to trust for God to work out his refining process and his timing is so crucial.
You made me think of something, man. I was actually going to ask you this, like, it's the idea of, like, you know, when it's very common in Christian circles to say, oh, I got to pray about that. Yeah. Well, how long do you need to pray about that, bro? Like, are you using that as an excuse because you just don't want to? Like, are you actually going to pray? Are you actually going to
That's an excuse a lot of times.
And it's just like...
I actually say it as a joke to people. Like when, or like when someone's like, hey, Ryan, hey, you gonna come out here? I'm like, I'm gonna pray about it.
Yeah, seriously.
Just a cop out.
I just don't want to do it, dude.
Joking, you know? Joking. I'm totally joking and sarcastic. I'll say it to like someone like Sonny.
Yeah.
Or Head.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. So give me a little bit more background on that. Like, people just say that. Like, it's like cliche, right?
Yeah, it's just kind of cliche. And like, you're saying God's omnipresent. He's living inside us. And I do understand there's things that need to be thought of, but like to the point where you're not moving and you're not doing anything. And it comes back to this idea of like taking action and not living in fear. And like you just said, and I don't know the examples, you probably know them better than me in the Bible, where yes, sometimes God answered a prayer right away, but like, are you keep delaying the inevitable because of the fear, but you're using the, wrapping it with I'm praying about it, as opposed to let's just get this done. God wants you to get it done. And it's kind of like, because there's some things I'm praying about. I don't have all the answers for some stuff, but I'm asking myself, Chris, when are you just going to pull the trigger and get it done and move forward on this thing? Like, how long are you going to pray about it? Like, are you when do you know when you've got the answer on that specific thing? And so it's kind of like that balance, because, a Big Mac truck is coming down the highway. I'm not going to pray about whether I should move. I'm going to get out of the way, right? And it's just like there's and obviously some things are more clear, but are they more clear because you are plugged into God, and it's just like, well, okay, well, does that line up with the Word? It doesn't line up with the Word, so I probably shouldn't go. There's some things that are
he confirms the Word. Okay, so two things. So the famous scripture: walk by faith, not by sight.
Yeah.
Walk by faith. Doesn't say sit by faith.
That's good.
Walk.
That's good.
The Bible, you just got to take it literally, like what That's it
good.
says.
Yeah.
Walk by faith. Faith is shown in your footsteps. Wherever you're going, whatever you're going to grab a phone call.
Yeah.
Guess what? Sometimes you got to pick up a phone call. In my book, I talk about even when I got the whole radio show thing, I had to call, and when I called, God went before me because He's omniscient, and I said a couple things. I had this whole pitch. I didn't even pitch it. They just gave me the green light.
Yeah.
And the radio shows happen like that. Why? Because I walked like faith. I walked and picked up my phone, and I put my fingers on the button and pushed faith in action. Yeah. Now, the second thing is God a liar? Is God a liar?
No,
right? He never lies. He never casts a shifting shadow. That's what James says. He's not a liar. There's no darkness in Him at all. So if God has called you and me and listeners for a plan, if He's prompted or showed you visually in a dream or like a vision or through the scriptures or audibly or however He speaks to you, giving you a word or whatever, if He has told you what He's going to do with you, like some plans, like, maybe gave you a prophetic word, like you're going to be a musician or you're going to be an artist, or you're going to be a doctor, or whatever you're going to be, or a pastor, missionary, or whatever, and you're going to go to this land. If He told you that you're going to do that, guess what? You're going to do that. But guess what? It's on your timing. Yeah. Because if you sit on your butt and you're just praying, and there's faith without action, God will wait for you until you're ready. And there's tests that He puts in front of us that we have to pass the test. Yeah. Because the tests are a development faith refining process where He develops you in the scripture. He develops you in stepping out in faith. He develops you in the gifts. Yeah. So then you're able to go and live that purpose. But a lot of people never go get discipled. They never learn the Word of God. They never learn how to pray. They never ask for the gifts. They never. But God has called them to be great, but they never advance because they never step out by faith. They sit around, they talk about, they're praying about it, and they never do anything. Yeah. And that is the problem. We're going to go to break in a minute, but I do want to plug your book.
Yeah, man.
Where is it?
It's called From Red to Black. They can get it on Amazon. You can get it off our website, manafest.com/From Red to Black. From Red to Black. It's free. Just cover shipping and handling, and we'll ship it out.
Get there, and then your music, iTunes,
Spotify, just Manafest, MANAFEST. Yeah, man.
Get there. You guys know Manafest. He's been playing for years. We've done a lot of stuff with him with the Whosoever's movement. Manafest is actually one of my good friends, legit friends. That's why I was so stoked you're in the studio. Yeah, dude. I'm like, I got my other homie. I want you to meet after Zayo, Damien. He's a skater. He has a sick mini ramp.
Oh, cool, man.
I think it was at Vans or something, but he built it in his backyard.
Yeah.
You got to meet him, man, and I'm gonna connect you with him. But hey, we'll be back right after the break. We love you guys. Peace.
More of The Ryan Ries Show. Coming up, post your questions at Ryan Ries on his Instagram, Twitter, and or Facebook. Now, back to the Ryan Ries Show.
All right, it's going down. The first half has been fire, only due to Manafest being in studio, dropping it fire style, man. But hey, this last half, let's talk about the book. I'm actually very curious. About finance.
Yeah.
And this is a thing. This is a thing because, especially with the pulse of what's going on in the world, we got inflation going on.
Yeah.
You know, lack of food. I mean, there's rents going up, properties going up, interest rates just went up, stuff's going up.
Yeah, it's real, man. And like, I didn't grow up with like a golden spoon or silver spoon. You know, I lost my dad to suicide when I was 5 years old, and we know the school doesn't teach us anything about money or business or finances or starting a business and just being free, you know. And you know, I ended up learning from this guy named Peter J. Daniels just about that, you know, you can trade your life for a big dream, a small dream, or no dream. And I wanted to trade my life for a big dream. I wanted to be impacted, you know, touring as a broke artist and having so many people, you know, put me up and take care of me. A lot of people actually in California and all over the world that, you know, were wealthy and they had money so that they could bless me and my wife so we had a place to sleep or to eat. And, you know, I always wanted to be able to give back. But I realized that I had to figure out this money thing and learn how to get out of debt or use money as a tool. And one thing that I talk about in the book is the idea of creating assets, right? Like we're all used to going to a job, which stands for just over broke, right? You go to the job, you plug in, you put in your time, right? But then you don't get paid when you leave there, right? But you're spending money every single day, every time you turn on the water faucet, every time the electric dryer goes in. But we're only taught to make money by clocking in. We're not taught to create assets, things that actually make money. Like you created that new book. That's now an asset. It's online. It's an audio. I don't know if you got the audiobook version of it. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's snippets of it on YouTube. You got your YouTube channel monetized. Maybe you have a course that talks about killing the noise and the whole topic under there. Now you have an online course. And so in the book, I talk about creating online assets and different things. It could be, I talk about real estate, the idea of your house is not an asset, man. It costs money to mow the lawn. I got to pay in Canada this guy weed man to take care of this house. That sure, it's an investment if it goes up.
Is he an actual weed man?
Huh?
Is he actually a weed man? No,
it's a company. And you know what, dude? We paid for them, and there's more weeds than not. I called them. I was like, dude, what are you doing?
No, but you got to put money into paint. I mean, after a while, paint fixes, whatever's coming apart.
Dude, it's not putting money into my pocket. It's taking money in my pocket. But now if I rent that thing out and say the expenses are $1,000, but someone's paying me $1,500 or, $2,000, then okay, I'm got the cash flow from that. So it's actually putting money into my pocket. And this is a big thing that we're just not taught about money in school. Dude, when I left school and got my first computer job, I was getting paid $13.50 an hour. Dang. And I was stoked, and I was still living at home. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, I'm working, making all this money, taking my girlfriend out, who's my wife, to amazing, meals at McDonald's. Yeah. No, I don't know. We were just eating out a lot, right? And I feel like I got all this money. And then at the end of the year, someone tells me I have to file a tax return. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're taking my money? And dude, I owed, it was a lot of money. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And no one told me about filing taxes. I wasn't taught any of this stuff in school. They didn't teach me how to buy a car at a discount or negotiate how to buy an automobile. And I talk about all these things in the book, right?
Dang, no one, no one teaches this stuff. Credit card.
Dude.
Checks. And none of this stuff. It's not taught. You're absolutely right.
Trigonometry and, and all those other things, calculus, that's so much more important than because I've used that so many times in the last few years of my life.
Yeah.
Really all that advanced math, really important. But anyways, so I had to file taxes. And when I think back to it, I was in business and I didn't know I could write off expenses. I didn't know, the difference between and why I believe God wants people to go into business, so you can be a leader, be an example, put your faith in action, that you're stepping out, you know what I mean? And providing jobs for other people, that's a real godly thing to do. And, but I didn't realize because I was a contractor, this job, I could have had all these expenses I could have written off, and I probably wouldn't have owed barely anything, but we didn't write anything. My girlfriend's dad did my tax return for me back then, didn't know this stuff. And this is why people perish, for a lack of knowledge. But it's out there if you look for it.
Yeah,
right?
let's talk more about this book. What are some other? This is good. This is good stuff we're talking about here. What are some other chapters or other things you cover in that book?
One of the things I like, and again,
you can give life application of some story that's in the book that you talk about.
I never got into music to make money, right? Mm-hmm. Dude, I was the worst rapper, worst singer. I wanted to be a pro skater, right? And I got hurt skating and led to music. And I didn't realize that, creating music could actually even be an asset. And there's this thing I call it Swiss dollars. It stands for sales while I sleep soundly, right? And so my first taste of that was that I wrote a song 10 years ago or 20 years ago, and that song continues to make money to this day. Mm-hmm. And so, I encouraged people well, why don't you write a book about something and teach what you know? And there's this thing that me and my wife taught inside the book was the idea of selling what you know. People are listening to your radio show because you're sharing your information on God. People go to Bible college and different stuff to learn about God. And there's people write books about the Bible and Jesus. You're teaching what you know. And, people will pay you for your knowledge, whether that's on cooking. It could be on how to be healthy, crypto, how to make rings, graffiti, how to learn how to paint graffiti. My buddy has a course, Jeff. I encouraged him to make a course on teaching people how to write graffiti letters. Sick. And so, total street stuff. Yeah. And now he's got a course online that's continuing making him money while he's doing the painting. And the difference between the guy that's just going to the different paintings, he's only getting paid when he's there, while Jeff's painting, his course is also teaching others, and he's getting paid for that. And this is where it comes to that time freedom, so that you've got money coming in 24/7, even while you're working on that. So that, because man, I've been in church tons of times where I'm trying to praise God and I'm thinking about the bills and I shouldn't be, you know what I mean? And I don't want to be there. And I want people to be able to have that financial freedom. So my biggest issue isn't my money. My issue is how do I get this message out there? I can be focusing on my dream and not be crippled by money and finances. Because, dude, I've been there, man, and it sucks. And it's
the assets, it's good to build. It's like that one verse, faithful in the small things, God will do greater things with the bigger things. He'll give you more. And if you're just faithful with what you have and you look at it like an investment, you're investing, doing these investments, and then you're also praying for the leading, like we talked about at the first half of the show, about God confirming, speaking to you, and he'll have you step out by faith. Yeah. And so it's not totally risk. There's always risk involved. But if you're hearing from God and he opens the door, there's that verse, God wants to prosper you. And I'm not saying he wants to give you Ferraris and Lamborghinis. You might, I don't know, but that's not the mess we're trying to say here. But if God is blessed, I was thinking about this actually driving up here today. I don't even know why, but I was thinking about Job. Yeah. Job was a wealthy guy. Yeah. Abraham was a wealthy guy.
King Solomon.
Yeah, wealthy guy.
He asked for wisdom. He didn't ask for money. He asked for wisdom. Lydia. The one that used to deal with the purple, the Lydia in the book of Acts, the girl, Paul ends up baptizing her down by the river. There was these wealthy people, so it's not a bad thing, but it's just cool to look at investments and where you can get in and where you can get started. But you can't get into investments unless you learn the basics about finance. And it is a good thing because what you're doing is you're providing assets that your kids will take over later on. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children.
It's biblical.
All right? A good man, and it talks about he who doesn't provide for his family is worse than an infidel. So, there's a real connection with, obedience before a blessing, right? Mm-hmm. God says, if you do this, I will do this. And a lot of time he promised, the Jewish people, and we're under that covenant that, if you do this, I will bless you. And a lot of times it was monetary. It's not always that. And I don't want to get into the whole prosperity thing. It's not about that.
Obviously, this whole first show was not about, we're just talking about your new book and finances. This is not a prosperity conference by any means.
Yeah.
But God, that verse, it sounds cliche. God wants to bless you. No, he does. And it's not just financially. It's you might be poor, but God wants to bless you personally because he knows your heart's desire, and he might just bless you with he'll bless you with an amazing wife or husband or family or job or just who knows, anything,
Yeah. And you're right, it does take risks, man. And I know you got a lot of musicians that, look at stuff and that are listening. And I think about record labels a lot, and it's they understand the idea of taking a risk.
Right.
And they risk on the artist. Mm-hmm. But he who risks the most gets the most reward. Mm-hmm. I challenge a lot of artists or people who want to go into business. It's if the artist put all the money into the music and made it, and guess what? If it blows up, they reap the rewards. But a lot of times artists don't want to take the risk. They don't want to step out in faith. They say they do, but they don't. And so they sign the rights away to the label. And then
it's like insurance.
And they're just a slave to the label, and they wonder why they're struggling. And it's again because, they're an asset for the label. The label gets it because they've invested in that little artist traveling around the world promoting the record for themselves. And it's unfortunately, but I believe, we want to take these principles back so that we can be blessed and be in control, Yeah,
let's give some more, we have another 14 minutes. So let's talk about some more stories. What's a scenario that happened to you, with you using these principles? in your life?
Well, I quit my job, right? Like the beginning of the book talks about how I quit my job. I got signed to a label, right? And I thought I was going to be like this rap rock star. And when I quit, not only did I lose that income stream, right? And before you quit,
by the way, I just want to jump in. Don't lose income streams. I heard some finance guy talk about you need like 7 income streams.
Yeah, like the average millionaire, billionaire has like multiple income streams, and that's one of the things. You never want to rely on one, right? Because like people will say a job is safe and secure until but you're not in control. You're not in control of your hours. You're not in control of anything. You got to show up when the boss says, right? And so anyways, I got signed and I just assumed everything was going to work out. And so I quit this job where I'm getting paid weekly. And I tried to do it smart, man. Like I tried to go from 5 days a week, and I took Fridays off so I could play more shows, and then I took another day off. They actually allowed me to only work 3 days a week, and I still had like benefits, all that stuff.
Amazing.
But of course that wasn't enough for Manafest. I had to be full time and get signed. And so I'm like, okay, I'm quitting my job. And I think I bought a car at the same time on a credit line at the same time. So again,
you thought you were going to be like the Beastie Boys and open up for Madonna on accident. Remember? Did you see the documentary?
No,
oh, you got to see. That's how they blew up.
That's a good thing, man.
But that didn't happen.
No, it didn't. Me and Jeff, we were like sleeping in the car. Like our first tour started from Canada. Our first show wasn't in Washington, like above Oregon or wherever it is, underneath BC.
Yeah, because you're in Canada. Oh, yeah, you're on the East Coast.
Yeah, dude. That was the first show. And so I signed...
Toronto to Washington.
You couldn't book any shows along the way. Like, you toured, dude. Like, what were we thinking? Right? And so not getting proper sleep. So I went into over $30,000 in debt in the first 6 months.
Dang.
And so this music dream was turning into a nightmare.
Right.
And so I'm away from my wife for a month and a half. So I had the courage to step out. Okay. The Bible talks about Joshua, be strong and courageous. So I stepped out stupidly, didn't plan. And, but then it's like, okay, how do you persevere? Proverbs.
So wait. So you stepped out. Because we've been telling people to step out in faith.
Yeah.
So how do you
step out in stupidity?
Right. So how do you step out without being stupid the proper way?
What I should have done is I should have stayed at the job longer, okay? Because I killed the whole income stream just assuming, God gives you a dream for a business. That's awesome. Whoever's watching, yes, okay? But build it, man. Like bootstrap it a little bit. Like I know it sucks right now you're going to your job, but you need that money to invest in that until this one can cover the other one, then you leave. You never fully kill an income stream, right? Thank God I left on good terms, and when I came back, they gave me some hours and stuff. But dude, it was tough, man. Yeah. I was just playing shows, trying to figure it out, and we, thank God we finally dug ourselves up. But you never want to kill one income stream before building another, and then you want to have other ones. But again, I didn't learn this stuff.
The goal is to keep all of them going.
Yeah.
All the income streams, because you never know. Some could take off over time. Yeah. Over a couple of years, might not start off nice, but it could crank out a couple of years later. Or one just might be just consistent, like a G a month. Yeah. Hey, G a month, that's 12 G's a year. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or you just never know. So it's always good to keep opportunity open and not just think like, I'm just going this way full board. Because like we all as humans, or at least I do, I have that like, that obsessive personality where I'm like, we're going to tour the United States. I'm like telling Lucas, our tour manager, book me all across the United States. I'll drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, yo, chill. Like work smarter, not harder. Right?
Dude, that's it, man. Like
like book like a week, 5 dates or 7 dates in each state and just spread it out.
Yeah. Be smart about it and look at your like expenses, right? Like a lot of people don't actually look at what they're spending. And
P&L, profit and loss.
Yeah, profit and loss. Like how much is going out, how much is coming in. And it's amazing the things that we'll spend money on that's wasteful. And it's just like, and I'm not all the ideology of, oh no, you can't enjoy life, no Starbucks, no eating out or whatever. But for a time, like why won't you do what others won't do today so you can have what others can't have tomorrow, including your dream. Like I sacrificed. I did a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't do that were crazy. Me and my wife, we weren't eating out. We weren't doing all the crazy stuff so that we could, build the business, go after the dream for God and invest in things. And so now we can enjoy some of those other things without having to always think about it. But it was by like, hey man, we had to cut some things for a while, right? And cut expenses.
Yeah. No, everything you're saying is spot on. I would agree with you 100%. Yeah, my wife was telling me, saying, hey, let's kick back, eat at home. I'm like, no, I like tacos. Yeah. And In-N-Out's right by my house. It's like 2 blocks away. So,
Yeah, and you want to enjoy stuff, but it's just like, like if you want to hit certain goals and things.
But you go through times. You got to go through times. You got to tighten up the budget sometimes to accomplish your goal. Like if you're going to go on a family vacation, you're going to be eating at home for a while. Yeah. Especially when you're traveling with 5 kids.
Dang, dude. That's
how many kids? 4.
Yeah.
Plus me, 5. Well, that's amazing, man. So what else? So what's another? We have these stories are good. We have another 8 minutes. What's another thing? Because let's point people to the book. Where can they buy this? I want to read this book,
dude. I think
you sent it to me.
Yeah.
I have it. Yeah. I need to read it.
I know. I need to read yours too. I was talking with Leo. I was like, I wonder if either of us have read that book.
I know. No, I literally, dude. You know what? My wife's gonna enjoy this book too.
Yeah, dude.
Your book. Yeah. So we're gonna read it.
Manafest.com/from red to black, or you can get it free on Audible if you get a 30-day thing and have it, just listen to it even, is good for people. I listen to things multiple times, man, just to kind of get it in. And, one thing I talk about in there is like the habits of the rich versus the habits of the poor, and there's just certain habits that, rich people do that you want to emulate. It's kind of like emulating success. Like there's lots of things like I can learn from you that was successful just by modeling what you're doing, and look at an unsuccessful person and just don't read the books unsuccessful people are doing, but as far as like some of the habits of the rich, we talked about like multiple income streams, waking up early, going to bed early, like really managing their time properly. Like they put a higher value on their time. And one time I said to someone, there's a quote in that book, like if you don't value your time, then don't expect somebody else to, you know what I mean? If you don't know what you're worth, don't expect someone to pay you what you think you're worth. Mm-hmm. And there was someone that was in a business, and I suggested to them, I said, well, how much do you charge? And they're like, kind of floundering with it. So I was like, dude, what's your price list? Like, so like that is the price that you charge. And like, and so that you have that, and don't put it cheap, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Put a price tag on what your time is worth,
right?
So that when people are asking you, and there's no like,
wishy-washy, and
and just be clear about it, right? Mm-hmm. But it took a long time for to figure some of this stuff out, and reading a lot of books. When I was on tour, instead of going out, a lot of times I'd go to the thrift shops and I would, buy books and whatnot, and just try to learn. And again, it was because I didn't have a dad, and I was just hungry to learn and just wanted to get wisdom and learn this stuff. And I thought, like, finally I wanted to share it, because growing up in the church, I got to be honest, man, like finances was a real taboo thing, and I was scared to really write and talk about stuff like this from a Christian perspective, because money was always looked at evil. But it wasn't money that's the root of all evil. It's the love of money. And as long as you keep using your money to love people and stop using people to get money, you'll be fine. Pastor once said to me, God gets it to you so he can get it through you, so you can bless other people. Another guy said to me, okay, you got a big dream, but if it doesn't require a team, then you're not dreaming big enough. I'm inspired. I see all the people around here that are helping with this dream. Like, it takes more than just Ryan Ries to get this thing done.
Oh yeah.
You get
big
that,
team,
right?
Big team.
And so when we think bigger, and it's almost being selfish by not, wanting to dream bigger, because you're impacting more people. Like, the more impact you have by partnering and not just being this, I get the whole solo entrepreneur thing and all that stuff, and we bootstrapped for a while, but I know for me, even a lot of times I haven't grown bigger is because I'm not hiring more people or partnering with more people and growing the team, so we can have more impact for God together,
You only have so much time and so much capacity. Yeah. That's the thing. You only have so much capacity. You can do so much. And I agree. You have to. I recently hired some more people because we have a small team, but it's like, if we don't have enough people, then I'm doing more stuff. I tried that during the pandemic because we had to kind of downsize, because we didn't know what was going on. Remember, this thing looked like The Walking Dead. Everyone was at home. Yeah. There's a virus out. We're seeing videos of people in Italy falling out, people getting dragged in spacesuits in Asia. I mean, we didn't know what the heck. So we just kind of downsized and just were hunkering down, holding tight. And then, all of a sudden things started picking up again. And I'm like, okay, dude, this is getting a little bit too crazy. We got to get the team. Started expanding, and now we're booking tours again. We're doing films again. It's just happening, but but you you can't do that unless. And that also during that time, I was looking at the budgets too. I was trying to look at the budgets, cut out stuff that's that we can, and tighten it up. So it all goes back to what you were saying. At the first part of the second half of the show is like knowing. That P&L, knowing the budget, knowing what's going in and going out, and knowing how to actually operate in that. Yeah. Because if not, I could just go out and book a bunch of tours with the whosoever's, and I could just pay for everything, and we'll be out of business here in 2 months. Yeah. Or I'm going to say, wait a minute, hold on. Our assist is we have the team, and we're going to come in with this amount, but then let's get other people, partner with other people to come in where they can help finance certain things, and then we could have way more reach and reach way more people. Yeah. But you have to know the basics of this stuff. Yeah, sponsors, partnerships, and then that way you can focus on your superpower, right? Like, which is your voice, your personality, and you preaching and getting out there and not doing. Sometimes we get caught up in doing things that we're not really called to do because we refuse to partner with other people. It's like, oh, I can do everything, and you're really limiting the growth and what you're called to do, right? And I again, like, there's certain things like I know that I shouldn't be doing. That's another thing I talk about in the book is like delegating smart, right? And passing off those different tasks. Like, and that comes back to your value. It's like, why am I doing a task that's, $15, $12, $14 an hour, whatever price tag, when my time is $40 an hour, when I should be delegating a $15 task to somebody else, so I can work on higher level tasks. But we don't think, and we're not taught that way, right? Yes. Yes. I've had many conversations of this. I said, wait, we're going to go drop this off. How much do you get paid? What's gas? How many hours is it going to take you to get there and back? Right. You could just ship the dang thing for less. You know what I mean? It's like we have to look. It's all perspective. It's all money going in. It's going out. It's all budget. It's just looking at the bigger picture. And also, like, why am I going to go deliver stuff when I should actually be like reading the news and reading the Bible and getting ready for a radio show? Right. Instead of me driving in a car. You know what I mean? It's like you gotta put all that into perspective. And this is all business. This is the way you do it, and this is the way you advance. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, when you're starting up, you got to grind to get it going. Dude. But then as you grind, the flow starts coming, and then you kind of step out, hiring some people part-time, and people that are, you have to see people that have the fire in their eye. They want to work hard. They're okay with, coming alongside and instructing them to grow. But people that are just going to get it done, like the Spartans, you know what I mean? Yeah, man. Yeah, I love that. We have 57 seconds left. Plug your book. Yeah, dude. Thanks again for having me, man. You inspire me. Go to manifest.com/from red to black. The book's free. You just cover shipping and handling. I think it's $10 in the US. And or just go to amazon.com or Audible and pick it up there. Get it there. Download all of his music. They're on all the platforms. I'm going to plug my book too. Kill the Noise, Finding Meaning Above the Madness. It's a faith builder. It was written in the pandemic, the first lockdown. And it's a discipleship tool. I'm teaching the Bible all through it with life application stories that will enable you, encourage you, empower you to step out by faith and live literally the whole reason why you're on planet Earth. And you'll never know what that purpose is until you give your life to Christ. You ask God for forgiveness, and He fills you with the Holy Spirit. And that's when you're illuminated, and that's when the power comes, and that's when you live your purpose here on planet Earth. Love you, man. Peace. Dude, so good. Dude. Meet this guy. What?
This has been The Ryan Ries Show. To connect and find out more about Ryan, click on ryan-ries.com. Check us out next Saturday at 9 p.m. for The Ryan Ries Show.